The Dark Tower connects everything. For years, fans believed every Stephen King story existed in the same multiverse connected by the Dark Tower. It seemed too ambitious to be intentional. How could Carrie, The Shining, and The Stand possibly share a universe? King writes horror, sci-fi, fantasy, and drama across completely different tones and settings. The Dark Tower series provided the evidence. Throughout 8 books, King explicitly references dozens of his other works. Characters from The Stand appear directly in the story. Randall Flagg from The Stand becomes a main antagonist under multiple identities. King confirmed in interviews that the tower is the linchpin holding all realities together, with every story existing somewhere on the branches of the world tree it protects. The 2017 film made this even more explicit. The production team designed the movie to potentially launch a shared King universe. King himself stated he views all his work as connected through the Dark Tower. Pennywise and the turtle are cosmic entities. When it was published in 1986, fans theorized Pennywise wasn't just a shape-shifting alien, but an actual cosmic entity as old as the universe itself. The book mentions a turtle, and fans believed this turtle was equally powerful and opposed to it. Most readers thought this was just King being weird with his mythology. The novel explicitly confirms it. Pennywise is revealed to be one of the Deadlights, ancient beings that existed before the universe. The turtle, called Maturin, is a cosmic entity that vomited up the universe during a stomachache. Bill Denbrough encounters the turtle in the Macroverse during his psychic battle with it. King confirmed both appear in the Dark Tower series, with the turtle mentioned as one of 12 Guardians of the Beams holding up the Dark Tower. Director Andy Muschietti intentionally included turtle Easter eggs throughout both It films, including a Lego turtle in Georgie's room, validating that the cosmic mythology was always meant to be taken literally. Jack Torrance wrote Misery. Fans noticed unsettling similarities between Jack Torrance from The Shining and Paul Sheldon from Misery. Both are alcoholic writers struggling with their craft who become trapped and tortured. The theory proposed they were the same person, or that King was writing about his own demons through both characters. King confirmed in his memoir, On Writing, that both characters were autobiographical. He wrote The Shining while battling alcoholism and misery after his addiction intensified. Paul Sheldon's captivity represented King's cocaine addiction, with Annie Wilkes symbolizing the drug itself. King revealed he barely remembers writing Cujo because of his addiction. While Jack and Paul aren't literally the same person, King confirmed they're both versions of himself at his lowest point, making the fan theory about their connection emotionally accurate. The Stand takes place in the Dark Tower universe. When The Stand was published in 1978, fans immediately theorized it connected to King's larger mythology. Randall Flagg seemed too powerful to be just human. He had to be something supernatural appearing across multiple stories. His abilities and near immortality suggested something far more sinister. King confirmed this repeatedly. Flagg appears in The Stand, The Eyes of the Dragon, and throughout the Dark Tower series as a main antagonist. His real name is Walter O'Dim, the Man in Black, serving the Crimson King. The apocalyptic plague from The Stand is referenced in the Dark Tower novels as one of many apocalypses across different versions of Earth. King told Rolling Stone that Flagg is his favorite villain specifically because he can appear anywhere in the multiverse. The theory that The Stand was always part of King's grand mythology was completely validated. Christine is possessed by Roland's world. Christine seems straightforward, an evil car possessed by something malevolent. But fans theorize the car was possessed by something from the Dark Tower universe specifically, not just a generic evil spirit. The novel provides subtle evidence. Christine's supernatural abilities mirror other artifacts touched by the tower's magic. She regenerates damage impossibly fast, influences human behavior, and cannot be permanently destroyed. Characteristics of objects touched by the Prim, the primordial chaos from Dark Tower. King confirmed he envisions Christine as one of many objects touched by other dimensions. While never explicitly stated in the text, he's acknowledged that Christine's possession is similar to items like Black 13 from the Dark Tower series, The fan theory about Christine connecting to King's larger mythology holds weight. The Shining and Dr. Sleep proved Danny has tower powers. After The Shining, fans theorized that Danny Torrance's psychic abilities weren't just ESP, but were connected to the Dark Tower's beam. The Shining seemed too similar to abilities in the Dark Tower series. King never confirmed this for decades. Then Dr. Sleep was published in 2013. The sequel explicitly expands on what The Shining is. King describes The Shining in terms nearly identical to how he describes the Touch in the Dark Tower series. In interviews promoting Dr. Sleep, King acknowledged that psychic abilities across his works stem from the same source. Characters with The Shining, The Touch, and even Carrie White are all tapping into power that emanates from the Dark Tower. The theory was confirmed 36 years after The Shining was published. Derry is cursed because of the tower. Derry, Maine appears in multiple King novels as a place where terrible things constantly happen. Fans theorized Derry was cursed because it sits on a thin spot between worlds where the tower's influence is weak. It explicitly confirms Derry is built on a weak point in reality. Pennywise crashed to Earth at this location specifically because the barriers between dimensions are thin there. The violence plaguing Derry throughout history is directly caused by IT's presence warping reality. King revealed he chose Derry because he needed a location where supernatural events would feel inevitable. In Insomnia, another novel set in Derry, King explicitly connects the town to the Dark Tower mythology. Characters encounter agents of the tower and discover Derry sits near a crucial point in the beam. The fan theory about Derry being cosmically significant was always King's intention. Rose Red is the Overlook's sister. When King wrote the miniseries Rose Red in 2002, fans immediately noticed similarities to The Shining's Overlook Hotel. Both are malevolent buildings that trap and feed on psychics. The theory proposed they were connected. King confirmed this was intentional. In interviews, he stated he designed Rose Red as a spiritual successor to The Shining, exploring similar themes of architecture that becomes alive and malevolent. While not literally sister buildings in the narrative, King acknowledged he was deliberately creating a companion piece. Both stories mirror each other. Psychically sensitive people enter a building with a dark history. The building influences and tortures them and becomes the primary antagonist. King told Statesman Journal that Rose Red was his attempt to revisit the haunted house concept from The Shining in a longer format. Castle Rock sits on a Dark Tower nexus. Castle Rock appears across 11 Stephen King novels. Fans theorized the town was cursed because it sits on a convergence point related to the Dark Tower, similar to Derry. The evidence is subtle but consistent. In Needful Things, villain Leland Gaunt is heavily implied to be a servant of the Crimson King. The shop operates on supernatural principles nearly identical to artifacts from Roland's world. In the Dark Half, supernatural events mirror the thin spots between worlds described in the Dark Tower. King confirmed in multiple interviews that both Castle Rock and Derry exist where barriers between worlds are weak. While he's been less explicit about Castle Rock's connection than Derry's, the pattern is clear. Castle Rock experiences supernatural events because the tower's influence bleeds through. The Crimson King is behind everything. The ultimate theory. One entity is ultimately responsible for most evil across King's universe. Fans pointed to Randall Flagg, It, and other villains as potential servants of a single ultimate evil. The Dark Tower series proved it completely true. The Crimson King is revealed as the primary antagonist of the Dark Tower series and the force behind the destruction of all realities. The series confirms that many of King's villains are either servants of the Crimson King or working toward the same goal, destroying the Dark Tower and plunging all existence into chaos. King stated in interviews that he envisioned the Crimson King as the devil figure of his entire mythology. While not every King villain directly serves him, the force of chaos and destruction they represent stems from the same source. The fan theory that King's universe has a singular ultimate evil pulling strings across multiple stories was exactly what King built the Dark Tower mythology to reveal.